Hello everyone, it's time for a new vlog. This time I'll bring you a vlog from the center of France. We're now in the Loire Valley and I'm here with my youngest son Bram. We're out here looking for wildlife, looking for badger sets, looking for insects, birds of prey such as buzzards. There's one circling above me right now. And this landscape is beautiful. This is known as a mixed woodland pasture landscape. And this is a perfect landscape for badgers. The woodlands out here provide a perfect refuge for sets, where badgers can hide and burrow and build their sets. Whilst the pastures around the woods provide a perfect feeding ground for these badgers. On the pastures they can find earthworms and crops. And at night they will go out into the pastures and they will feed. And hopefully in this woodland next to our camping grounds we can find some badger sets. So please join us for this new vlog from France. Looking for wildlife together with my son was a nice change of pace from being by myself. Of course, scaling a steep hill riddled with brambles and stinging nettles with a small child was going to be a challenge. It wasn't long before we encountered the first animal tracks. So last year I was also here, and by using Google Maps I can find the badger sets. So we are now right there where their blue circle is. And right over here we have two badger sets that I found last year. So we're almost there, just a few hundred yards. So let's check it out. And finally, there we are. So this seems to be a fox's den, but last year it looked more like a badger's. And I can see some scratching marks, so there may be a young badger here or a fox. I can see fresh tracks, but I'm not sure if it's a badger or a fox. So I brought this trail cam. I'm going to suspend it here on a tree, and hopefully a few nights from now we can see what burrows here, what lives here. So let's set up the trail cam. I'm going to lock this trail cam so nobody can tamper with it. You can see we have a nice view of this entrance hole. Hopefully we'll have some nice footage a couple of days from now. Let's see. As I expected, my son was too tired to walk down the hill by himself. So I had to carry him. Fortunately, we made it back to the campsite safely. While the trail cam was running in the forest, I spent some time with my family and explored the wildlife around our campsite. We also went to the local Loire River, which has beautiful wildlife, including these beautiful damselflies. This is an amazing river. You can explore some beautiful castles along its banks. Well, I'm now going back to check out the trail cam. It's quite a warm, humid day. It's a warm, humid day here in the center of France. The mosquitoes are all over me. I mean, they're having a field day with me. So I have to keep moving to keep them off my back. But we're almost near the trail cam. We're very close to the trail cam, and hopefully it has captured badgers or foxes or whatever. Oh, this forest is so thick. Not only thick with mosquitoes, but also with plant life. Look at all these ferns. Looks like a Devonian forest or something. Well, the trail cam is still there. There seem to be some fresh tracks. So let's have a look and see what we find. Well, sadly, except for a few birds and a few mice, the trail cam did not capture any fox or badger. But there are fresh tracks here and there. You can see the little paths through the forest. I'm pretty sure that badgers and foxes are active in this forest. So I'm going to leave the trail cam for a couple of days. And then we'll see what happens. First, I have to scale down this hill, get back to the campsite safely. Okay, that's a little gorge. That's clearly not the way to go. Guess I'm gonna have to find some other way home. Let's go that way. Well, it's getting dark. It's always interesting how on a map a route can seem very short, 500 yards, 600 yards. But when you're in the forest and you're on a steep hill, on a steep incline, and the forest is very thick, 500 yards suddenly seems like many miles. A thick forest is no joke. It's always good to come prepared. Bring plenty of food and water. Bring a phone, bring a map. And very importantly, tell people where you're going to go, so they know where to look for you when something goes south. But I can see the edge of the forest, so I am very close to my camping grounds. So I think I'll make it home alive. That's the edge of the forest, and then it's only a few hundred yards to the campsite. And now I have to pass by my favorite tree, or not. You can see this little crevice in this tree. And last year, this is where I picked up a hornet's nest. A lot of hornets came flying out. And I was here with my kids, so we ran like idiots. Of course, you shouldn't do that, but hey, town folk and all. Yep. Freedom. Man, I love the French countryside. You can see buzzards here and there. You can hear them calling. In the meantime, there was plenty of amazing wildlife to enjoy at our campsite, such as these amazing stag beetles. We found a lot of females, which do not possess the large jaws resembling stag antlers. We're back again. This is my third attempt at checking the badger set or badger den. And I told you that it looks like a fox's den because it's quite high. It looks like an O instead of a capital letter D. But still, my gut instincts told me that badgers were active here, and check it out. This is some footage from last night. What do we have? A beautiful adult badger sniffing in the air. It's checking out the trail cam, so it's a bit wary. But you can see that this is indeed a badger. So it's fantastic when your instincts are proven right. When you learn to read the signs of the forest, the badger paths, the badger ways, I mean, all the digging that's going on. You just learn to smell a badger when it's near. And well, there you have it, a beautiful badger, or a blaireau, as they call the badger in France. So this is always exciting to capture wildlife abroad. This is my first French badger. I was here last year, but sorry, I'm sweating like a pig. I didn't bring my trail cams with me. But you can see that the trail cam captured a badger amongst this lush, dense forest with ferns everywhere. And this badger came in the middle of the night, so it would not have been possible for me to see this badger live. But I'm pretty sure there's a badger set somewhere in this area. This is just one entrance hole, and there must be a badger set with many entrance holes. And hopefully this year or the next I can find a badger set over here in the center of France and observe them live. Now this is what I call a pine cone. Now look at this. In the Netherlands they're like a third of the size. Amazing. Hey, we've got some pretty old trees here. Pretty magnificent to a Dutchman. Well, I'm now at a different part of the forest. And I've got a beautiful badger track. A badger trail, I should say. Now this will quite possibly lead me to the badger set. And this trail was going underneath shrubs. And that means that this is probably not a deer trail, because deer are high. So they will push away more of the foliage. And so if you have these trails going in between the bushes, the brushes, it is more likely to be a badger trail, because badgers are small and they can easily go underneath bushes and shrubs. And you can see that this is where they cross the road. The trail is not so visible because of all the light here that will stimulate plant growth. But this is probably where they go. So I should be able to pick up the trail here. And then the badger set should be very close. So let's have a look. I didn't see any latrines, but I do see all these digging marks. This is where the badgers look for food, for snails, for worms, for insects, because they are of course hungry along their way when they go about their nightly routes. So I think I'm pretty close, so let's have a look. Well, there you have it. This is a badger set. It's pretty small. You can see two small entrance holes here. And there are more over there. It's not very worn. So it may be an outlier set or an annex set, as they call it. So check it out. This is a typical capital letter D. So this is definitely a badger set. But this entrance hole has not been used that much. So let's go around. So let's check on the other side of this set. There are many fallen trees over here, and this provides of course some help to the badgers. This makes it easier for badgers to burrow. This may be another small animal. This seems a little narrow for badgers. And this is a typical vent hole. A vent hole that badgers make straight up vertically from the ground up into the air to ventilate their sets, to reduce the humidity in the set and to provide additional oxygen and get rid of the carbon dioxide. So that is typical for a set. Now on the other side, what do we have? Lo and behold, I'm pretty sure that the badger is lurking in here somewhere. And you can see the fresh earth being dug up. There's not a big spoil heap, so it's not the most active set. So let's have a look around. Maybe there's a main set somewhere over here in this part of the forest. Well, I cannot find any clear trails emanating from this small set. It is true that badgers are being actively culled or hunted and killed in France, because the badger does not enjoy a protective status, I believe, in this country. There are quite a lot of badgers in France, and there are many farmers in this area, and they may not be very happy with the badgers destroying their crops. So I guess badgers are being actively hunted here, and maybe their numbers are kept artificially small. That's why you only find small dens, small sets in this area, even though it has great potential for many badgers, because it's a typical small scale landscape with lots of pastures for the badgers to feed on and lots of small forested areas for the badgers to hide in. But that's, I guess, the reason why the badger is not protected here, because this is such a great environment for badgers. You get a lot of badgers and people will start hunting them, culling them. The French countryside is beautiful. It's somewhat reminiscent of England and the south of the Netherlands. The beautiful hilly small-scale landscape where pasture and forest meet. Beautiful. Well, that marks the end of our trip to France. I only found a small badger set and a few badger dens, but still, captured a badger on my trail cam, saw beautiful landscapes. Although my poor health did not allow me to do much exploration, I was happy to see all this beautiful wildlife here in France. I recommend you visit this country at least once in your life. Thank you for watching this episode, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.